Good evening and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the indigenous one. And I got a friend of mine called me today and asked me what did I think of this Juneteenth celebration. And I asked him, like, well, what do you mean? And he asked me, did I see the parades and whatever was going on today? And I told him I got out of that long ago. I quit that long ago. How can you have a holiday when you yourself don't have a calendar? You see, the African American is always doing shit that is counterproductive to himself. So I guess with all these immigrants getting laws, however that's done, I don't know, being put ahead of the indigenous people of America, I guess the African American figures, I don't know, but the African American Black people are always in their own way. And it's just from just simply not thinking. I mean, damn, you at least got to think of yourself, your family, your friends, what's best for you. And the African American just seems to just race to the bottom. In the 9 areas of human activity, all of those 9 areas are the African Americans, the group that's aptly named African American. How are they faring in those 9 areas of human activity? It's not what I'm saying. This is what is being acted out right now. What is the African American? How do they fare in all those? And how do people from other countries, Bangladesh, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Iran, how do all these people come over and make themselves multimillionaires and you always lose? What would your ancestors think of you if they knew this was going on? And you do nothing. You just stand by and watch. Dog each other out. That's the African American. Tell me I'm lying. I dare you. Could you go over to Bangladesh and open up a business in Bangladesh? Could you go open up a business in Vietnam and they support you? Could you go over to North Korea and open up a rib shack and they support you? I know somebody over there. Yeah, right. They come over here, make the same amount of money as you, send it back to their home countries where the money might 8, 9, 10 times itself, while you standing on here looking like a knot on the log. Mexicans been doing it. And we just stand here babbling babbling. Your political leaders, really? Look at who represents you. Damn, look at your mayors. This is your best. Why does the African American always lose? I'm looking. The Light of Life said networking would be a good start. Networking, how? Because see, if you had to do the network, so I was explaining to the sister last night, let's say if we got into solar, you can't think of it like one person doing it by themselves. It's going to take a network, like the Light of Life is saying. So let's say the people in Alabama make the sails that catch the sunlight. Let's say Georgia handles all the batteries. And let's say South Carolina works on the inverters. Those are 3 companies. But that's if we're going to go back to our homeland and build up our homeland on the land that our ancestors left us, that we ran away from because we were scared. And now everybody in these cities, just think of the cities, think of New York. Just think daily what the Negro, the African American, how much they put out in New York. Think about it. Think about how much money the average Negro in Chicago. If you could take just, I know it's hypothetical, it's not real, we can't see it, I don't know, but just imagine every day in Chicago, how much does the average Negro spend? At the end of the day, all the dollars that the Negro has spent in Chicago, how much does it come to? And you multiply that, Los Angeles, Miami, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Cleveland, everywhere. These are the African Americans. The ones who are sitting by watching the game tonight. That's what we do, watch games. This is what the men do. And you wonder why you in 5th place in a 4-man race. Because you have been trained to work against yourself. You have been trained. And those that haven't, it's getting to the point now where you can't train them anymore, because they've been trained to do a certain thing, and to re-educate them into who they are. How long is that going to take? And where will we be then? You got some that's like, you got cats sitting on land, ain't nothing being done with it. Nothing. These are all the chiefs and all this stuff. Huh? There's nothing that we could use that we can't create for ourselves. So Light of Life, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Networking would be a good start. If Alabama worked with Tennessee and brothers in Mississippi, brothers in Arkansas, sisters, You can't see it. All we see is the foreigners coming over here, and we support them more than we support ourselves. Don't lie. Don't lie. So let's go through the excuses. Let's go through the excuses. Brother, from the bottom of my heart, I feel it's because you've been attacked the most. But the people of God will rise up and I will be there. The people of God. Don't the people of God have you in this position you in now? Don't the people who worship something that doesn't make sense, aren't those the people? Huh? Aren't they? You gotta ask yourself. I mean, where's God at? Where's God? I mean, with all this going on in the world, where God? Where Jesus? So you have to stop playing with that shit because your kids ain't going for it. It didn't work for you. It didn't work for your mama. It didn't work for your grandmama. It didn't work for your great grandma. I mean, seriously? Seriously? We gonna keep playing that game? This is what you do. Ask the people around you, what is their interpretation of God? And see if you get some interesting answers. Who is God? I mean, you can't be going by the Bible. You can't be going by it. I mean, anybody that can take a shower would tell you that the Bible is utter bullshit. Damn, all you got to do is read it. And I find that 80-year-old people have never read the Bible, but will explain God to you like they had lunch with him earlier in the day. Somebody came and conquered you and gave you a Bible to keep you to be a good slave, and we haven't figured it out yet. Is that why we always lose? And the Bible is just one aspect of it. You have been trained away from yourself so far, many of you will never get back. You have to come back again. And then you making it hard to come back again because you playing into that LGBTGFG stuff. It takes a male and a female to make a soul. I mean, this is elementary. This is like kindergarten stuff. And we're going around training the kids that they can be whatever they want to be. Your ass will be off this planet in no time. You taking life as a joke. You taking life as a joke. You pissing in life's face. And years ago, it used to be a saying, it's not nice to fuck with Mother Nature. The first time I heard that and I was a kid, I understood what it meant. It's not nice to fuck with Mother Nature. Because if you don't think all of this, the wind blows, the fire burn, the water come down, and you standing on the earth, and you don't think this has no life, you think it doesn't think, you think it doesn't feel, and you worrying about if you're going to get to go to Las Vegas this weekend? Are you crazy? This will let you know I'm not trying to punk or embarrass nobody because I don't know any of you. But I'm telling you, we got to look at ourselves. Brothers, you can't look at the women who gave birth to you as something separate from you. I mean, that hasn't worked yet. At least for the last 100 years. You still doing it? And the same for sisters. The men that birthed you. Now you want to kick them in the ass because they ain't doing what you knew they wasn't going to do anyway? This where we at? This where we at? This all we think about life? This a stand up in the pussy? This where we at? Social media has been a disaster for the African American. You don't think people from other places see that and call they people at home and say, look at these motherfuckers here? You don't think that goes on? You don't think your images are cast all over the world so that people can see where you at? You don't think they have media outlets in other countries that show how you act over here, how your mayors are, how your mayors run the cities, how your school system is ran? And they will come over here and sell you the biggest junk, and you will stack that stuff in your house. You have more stuff in your house. Everybody listening to this podcast, you have more stuff in your house from other countries than you built for yourself, right or wrong. That's where we are. So why is the Black American, why do we always lose? So you've seen with the Biden, so, you know, the presidency, I don't even really follow it no more. Because, I mean, the chick, Kamala Harris, sounds so goddamn dumb. Damn. And this, you guys went for it? This is who you voted for? This is who went through your so-called black university and is the vice president now? And y'all made sure that happened? That's what I mean, not working in your interest. Won't even work in your best interest. You'll work in somebody else's interest. And trip, because we tripping on it. This is what I mean, African American. They always lose. And they're always losing because they just simply won't think. And I'm not talking about the people who are paid to do what they do. I'm talking about those of us who's like, nah, we're not gonna let this happen. I'm not gonna let my kids grow up in this. I'm not gonna let my kids be stupid. I'm not gonna let my kids not control their destiny. I'm not gonna let my kids not get with any other of their associates and want to do something and they can't do it. Why can't they do it? Check out the stock of Netflix. Check out the stock of Netflix. It's pretty interesting. Does the African American Negro, do they have a channel? Do they have their own way to garner electricity? Do they control any of the rivers and lakes in America? I know many of you are saying, well, why would we want to do that? This your home, right? This your home. This is where your ancestors dwelled, right? You're supposed to honor your ancestors, right? What would they think if they saw what was happening now? Think about it. I'm talking about the ancestors that you identify with in your family. You know, when you go looking, when you start doing genealogy, you start looking at what certain people did. Because many of us, we weren't coming into these cities. We weren't coming in to get jobs. Why? Because we couldn't read the language. Now who are the main ones that are tricking the masses? The one who tries to sound intelligent. Oh, those type. They're the dumbest ones you have. When we first started filtering in these cities, many of us didn't speak English. That's why you see an X for a lot of signatures. And you still have people that refuse to participate in United Statism. They refuse. They came with the land, they'll die with the land. Remember that? Some of the things we don't remember. So the African American, and this is where you should be upset, because this is where they're erasing you. You ever go back? Let's just go back to Frederick Douglass. Why is Frederick Douglass called an African American when he himself never even heard the term? You see, your children are going to be tricked if you don't tell them. Frederick Douglass never even heard the term African American, but you're calling them that. That doesn't bother you? I mean, at least call the cat what he called himself. It just changed. Your history is being revised right in front of your eyes, and you don't say nothing about it. You will still support the institutions that make all that possible. Amen? I said you will still support the institutions that make all that possible, won't you? Yep. Again, I haven't seen the question. Nobody answered the question. Could you go to Bangladesh? Could you go to China? Could you go to Korea? Could you go to Vietnam, Iran, Iraq, hell, Mexico, Canada? Could you go to those places and start a business and the indigenous people support you there like you support the indigenous people here? Copper Indio says the truth is timeless. A lie needs to be revised, like our classification. So how do you tell a lie? How can you, when a person is telling you something, how can you tell that he's lying? You know, the quickest way, ask them to explain what they're talking about. That's anybody. Ask them what they're talking about. And you will soon see they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So this is, this is for, the young ones who are thinking about having kids and keeping, the bloodline flowing. Look, all females, you already have your children with you. They just need to be activated. Hopefully activated by a brother who knows his purpose on this planet, who knows who he is and knows his purpose. His purpose is to protect the land. Make sure that nobody walks over it, is in violation of it. You all these people over here, check out the land, check out the environmental damage that has been done. Check out the asbestos, all the chemicals that have been dumped on your homeland. And you don't say nothing. You cool with it. So we have a Facebook user that made some sense. No, that culture wouldn't even allow it, even if it tried. Nobody. Because that's what they're taught. That's what they're taught. We look out for ourselves. You're not taught that. You're taught we are the world. We are the children. This land is your land. This land is my land. You see, that's the shit you taught. Everybody else has a code. And their code is damn near what every species on this planet have. They have a code where they look out for each other. Guess who's the only one who don't? Do you not understand how economics work, genius? Yeah. You come over to a people's land, you take their land and their resources and you sell them. And not giving them anything of what is made. Very little to nothing. That's how economics work. Now, American King, and before you go on, because you're trying to be smart, a king is someone who everybody hates. Everybody hates the king. So that's why we don't do the king stuff here. So listen, man, if you're gonna come here, show some intelligence. Your ad hominem attacks, this is why we lose, brother. This is why we lose. This is why we lose. You have no industry on your land. Explain how. Explain how. You're the king, so we want to hear you. We got a good one tonight. Since you're the king, we're listening to you, oh hell king. You are oppressed, which is why you don't have wealth, fool. A king, that's how a king speaks to his subjects, huh? This is what I'm saying, y'all. This is what I'm saying. This is what we got. This is the thinking. This is where we at. This cat called himself, that's like calling himself black. You ever ask a person, you call yourself black and you put your phone up to their skin and you tell them to explain, and the look they get on their face, this is what we have. This is what we have. So this is what your kids are taught. Economics is simple. You look out for yourself and stop be conservative. Stop giving away your riches. Economics to me. And you don't have all that money. That's what good is that doing? What good is that doing the world? That's how a king thinks. Mine, all mine. Can't stand to see nobody else having a good time. And this is the idea, this is the ideology that we picked up on. That's what I'm saying. In the 9 areas of human activity, and this dude calls himself a king. So if you've been listening to that cat, Kwame Brown, listen to how he talks. He explains things real simply. Listen to what he sounds like. That's how most of y'all's grandparents sounded. And now we're moving away from that because we're trying to tidy up our diction. Pay attention to what's happening. You know that what's going on in Flint, Michigan is still happening, and we all aren't embarrassed. We're not embarrassed. That's how much we care for ourselves. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here because I'm not going to keep it long, but I just wanted to put that out. Is why is the Black African American always in last place? Always begging for, this is what I don't get. Always begging for the thieves to do something for them. What kind of shit is that? What is that? Fine tune your thinking. Ask yourself every day, does it work? How come there's no so-called people's car plants? How is it okay for other people to come on your land and charge you for using your land, and you don't have nothing to say about it? So the self-hatred gonna have to cease, because you can hear it in the speech, like we heard in American Kang. Everything you want is under your feet. What's your feet touching the ground, the sun hitting your head, activate your ass to do what you need to do. You can't be cut off from your people. You can't be cut off from your grandmama. You can't be cut off from your grandfather. You can't be cut off from your great-great-grandmama. You can't be cut off from your great-great-grandfather. Real story. And then I'm going to go ahead and close it. Was in LA one year, and every year in LA, they had the Playboy Jazz Festival, Hollywood Bowl. So there one day, and we're just sitting there chilling, having a good time. And this brother is there with a Japanese woman. And we were talking, me and my crew was talking about something. It had something to do with genealogy, which one of us could go back the furthest. So this Japanese, so this Japanese girl said, I can go back 600 years. The gentleman who she was dating was a brother. I asked him, I said, how far could you go back? He said to his grandmama. That's how far he can go back. You see, these people, when they come over here, that's why they bring their mamas. That's why they bring their cousins. They have a code. They are people on this planet. They control certain things on this planet like you do. But you, anytime somebody wants to change who you are, they just snap their fingers and you automatically change. From Black to African American to Negro to colored, your designation can be changed on a whim. So this Juneteenth thing, no. You have to have a calendar first. See, people who celebrate Juneteenth, you know what else they celebrate? They celebrate Happy New Year in the dead of winter, when the new year is spring. That your African American don't know that, and don't care that he don't know it. You work against yourself, you will take your own self out. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'll see you next time. Peace.